All right, everyone, thanks again for joining us. Biden did it. He's in, and we're going to see if it's going to go through. So there's a lot to talk about today. I'm sure the questions are going to start jumping in about different things. But I just want to set the pace of what's going on. First of all, we're just going to talk about it, and then I'm going to go to questions a little later. But what does it mean? What is Biden's immigration policy? What will it practically mean for everybody? So let's talk about what that is. First of all, immigration in the United States is done by three different ways primarily. The main way they're supposed to do it is through Congress passing a bill that becomes a statute that's a law of the land. And that's what the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2020 is about. Mr. Biden saying, or President Biden saying, we're going to introduce this. It's going to go to Congress to get reviewed and passed. Now, although the Senate and the House, all the legislative arm, those groups that make the laws, are Democrats, it doesn't mean it's all going to be passed. And when we go through it right now, there's so many goodies in there that people who don't like immigrants and stuff are going to be pushing back. It's not all going to go through. And, the reality is getting a bill to become a law is so complex and stuff. We can't rely on it all happening, but we're going to go through that. The second way is the courts. Although they're not supposed to be making laws, they will push back. So a lot of times the pushback may come from people suing. And just like during President Trump's time, where people would sue to stop things that President Trump was doing, states would sue on that, it could happen the other way around, where states, maybe in Texas, for example, will sue to stop certain stuff. So there may be injunctions, there may be changes happening to the immigration system through the courts that are against Biden and against these immigration stuff. And third, it's the executive actions. These are things Trump was doing quickly, and there's limitations on what a president can do with executive orders and proclamations. We saw that with President Trump, some things were stopped. But President Biden got some in today, and I guess we'll start with that. What was the stuff he did? Well, with an executive order in immigration, he took away what was popularly known as the Muslim travel ban. That's gone. So that affects people from Iran, Syria, Yemen, and many other countries who are subject to this ban, where they would have to wait extra time for their case to be reviewed before they would come back in, or potentially denied for fear of, security reasons. Now, the reality is, if you were a Syrian, if you're an Iranian, there already was a travel ban essentially during President Obama's time, because these people would undergo the same scrutiny that the Iranians would with a thing called administrative processing. So even before Trump came, there were many cases stuck 1, 2, 3 years in administrative processing, essentially a travel ban. Add to that, the main country that was subject to the travel ban, Iran, is subject to a COVID-19 travel ban. And although President Trump said, we're going to take that away after I leave, President Biden said, no, we're keeping the COVID-19 travel bans as they are, and it may even get worse. So if you had a family member or a person from China who's visited Europe, UK, Ireland, Brazil, these people many times will still not be allowed to come to the United States. So this is a partial help for some, not much for others. So be mindful of that. So let's go over what the rules are. What has happened. Another executive order he threw in there. He stopped the border wall creation and said, enough of this, we're not going to deal with that. So just be prepared. The border wall stopped. They're saving the money on that kind of stuff. And practically speaking, for those, we're already getting questions about this right now, saying, where's my biometrics notice? How come the check wasn't cashed on my case with USCIS? Where's my receipt? Practically speaking, even if there is amnesty, meaning they'll give everyone green cards, we don't have the infrastructure to be handling this kind of stuff. So that means huge delays nonetheless, cases getting lost, mistakes, all that's going to be in there, and that's going to continue and get worse, because even if they hire people, it's going to take a while for them to be trained, and mistakes will be made. And even the State Department, the group that does the embassies, even if they open up the embassies, there's going to be huge delays because so many people left the State Department because of President Trump and his policy. Now, hopefully it could bring these people back, and we could have a lot of these career people come back and help get things moving. However, that's going to take time, and they'll have to train new people. And to train a foreign service officer, the person that goes to the embassy and does your visa interview, it takes a year. And it takes so much money and time, so expect delays on all this kind of stuff that's going to pop up. A lot of highlights. It's mind-boggling the amount of things they're doing. Introducing a bill, so let's go into the details of what they say is in the bill. It's not clear what's going to end. This is just the beginning. We're going to see what happens at the end. So just remember that these things are not written in stone. They're going to change. So the bill is going to allow undocumented individuals to apply for temporary legal status with the ability to apply for a green card in 5 years if they pass criminal and national security background checks, pay their taxes. I don't think that's probably going to end up happening. No way the Republicans, they're gonna drag things down. That's not going to happen. But Dreamers, TPS holders, Dreamers are DACA, the people who came with their kids, plus TPS holders, temporary protected status. They're from countries visiting here. Some crazy stuff happens in their country. They can't go back. And they say we can stay here temporarily till the situation in our home country is better. And immigrant farm workers who meet specific requirements, those three groups, are going to be eligible for green cards immediately under this legislation. We'll see. And then after 3 years, all these green card holders who pass necessary checks and everything can apply for citizenship. Usually it's 5 years to apply for citizenship if you have a green card, 3 years if you're married to a U.S. citizen. This would change that for these individuals. Which is kind of unfair because there's other people who have been in line, but okay. Applicants must be physically present in the United States on or before January 21. So the cutoff for people that could apply for this are people who came before January 1st, 2021. And the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, could waive that requirement for those who were deported on or after January 20th, 2017, but were physically present in the U.S. for 3 years. So there's a lot of nuances to this. They're going to change the word alien to non-citizen to be more respectful. They say we're going to clear the backlogs, recapture unused visas. So there's a huge backlogs for a lot of people in employment-based categories, for example, in India and China. There's backlogs for family members, brothers and sisters. He says we're going to clear that. I don't know how that's technically going to be possible because there's a limited number of green cards every year. I'm not sure how they're going to actually do that. One thing too is you know, when they give a green card out to a family, they count that as, let's see, there's a dad, a mom, and 3 kids. That's a family of 5. They count that as 5 separate visas for counting purposes. So it eats up a lot of the numbers of immigrant visa, green cards that are out there. But the rules kind of do say that you could count that whole family as one unit. So they change that up. All of a sudden you get a huge number, extra amounts of immigrant visas available. So that's great. Limiting lengthy wait times and increasing per country capita visa. So this doesn't make sense what they're saying go out. So they're saying we're going to end per country visa cap. So right now, every country could only get a certain amount, a maximum of immigrant visas, green cards, if it comes to the United States each year. So for example, in India, because there's so many applicants coming from there, they've maxed it out. There's a huge wait from India because there's so many people applying, but there's a limit as to how many could come each year. They max out that limit. Well, if they take away that limit, then all of a sudden a huge number is going to come, and that's going to create a huge backlog on its own. So that doesn't make any sense what they're saying. We'll have to see how it actually plays out. It also says they're eliminating the 3 and 10 year bars. This is a situation where someone overstayed a visa and has to leave to get their immigrant visa interview. They overstay for a period of time. I'm not getting too much of details, just general big picture. They leave the United States. They're barred from coming in for 3 or 10 years. 3 or 10 years. This is one of the main things my office deals with. I get people who came here either without permission or they overstayed a student visa or something like that. Usually someone came without permission, gets married to a U.S. citizen, for example. To finally get the green card, they have to leave, go to their home country embassy and come back. But by leaving, they become subject to a 3 or 10 year bar unless they apply for a waiver. But this would do away with the requirement for a waiver. That would be wonderful. There's a lot of people that would get affected by that. That's a big one. And there's another thing that says to more explicitly include permanent partnerships and eliminate discrimination facing LGBTQ families. I'm not sure what that means. There's this problem that if you want to do a marriage case, you have to be married, but a lot of countries overseas do not allow same-sex marriage. So then they can't file for a marriage-based green card unless they both travel to a country that recognizes same-sex marriage, which is difficult. How are they going to prove this couple is actually in a permanent partnership? We'll have to see the details of how that's going to work. They're also going to promote protections for orphans, widows, children, and Filipino veterans who fought alongside the U.S. in World War II. There's not that many people, but that. The bill would also allow immigrants with approved family partnerships, sponsorship petitions to join the U.S. temporarily. So you have a family case pending, it's pending for a while. You could come in the United States while it's pending until the green card is issued. There is a thing called the K3, the K4, the V. These aren't used as much, but this would be wonderful because we have a lot of families that are separated and waiting. Why not bring them together in the United States if the case is easy enough? They're also going to ban discrimination based on religion and limit presidential authority to issue such bans in the future to prevent another President Trump from coming, another version of that, and doing massive bans on people based on religion. How you're going to prove it's based on religion, who knows? But the bill also increases the green card visa lottery from 80,000 from 55,000. So a lot more people, and this is what I always recommend, if you're interested in getting a green card, apply for the diversity visa green card lottery if your country meets the requirements for that. They're going to promote immigrant refugee integration, citizenship. We talked about how they're going to increase the number of visas, but they're also going to help student visa holders to stay longer, do work, and have a path potentially to get a green card, while at the same time helping American workers with the Department of Labor so that foreign workers won't affect their wages. That part doesn't make sense altogether. We'll see how that actually works out. But they're going to help H-1B visa holders, spouses potentially get work authorization, which is great, prevent their children from aging out once they're 21 if they've been here, add some sort of investor packages to help stimulate regional economy, and help unskilled non-immigrant labor and all this kind of stuff. We'll see how that works out. But they're going to increase the U visa, people who are victims of serious crime in the United States, more numbers, working on that faster. So that'd be great. They're going to help technology at the border to crack down. They're going to go and help communities outside the United States where migrants are coming to the United States to help deal with the situation that's causing them to come here. So that's interesting. We'll see what actually happens on that. They're going to crack down on smuggling and trafficking. Those are some big ones there. And improving the immigration court system, trying to get rid of the backlog, allowing judges more discretion, which President Trump was trying to completely get away. Hopefully they do that. They really destroyed the immigration court system. The previous president did. Help training judges more, improving their technology, reducing backlogs, and supporting the U visas, as I talked about, the T visas, the VAWA cases, raising the U visa cap from 10,000 to 30,000. A lot of these are more technical, but it affects a large number of people that have had really difficult times. So that's going to be, we're gonna see what actually happens. So we got to see what happens in the Congress, in the Senate, and what's finally passed. And we'll talk about that more here live, the JQK Immigration Law Firm channel. But I thought it was important to share because it happened today, and so it kind of took away from our live Q&A. But I think that's really important to share. I hope you enjoyed this educational video. We have a second channel with much more information as well at JQK Immigration Clips. Please check that out. Also, you'll find our social media site has a lot more videos, images, and information about the U.S. immigration process. Please check those out on the various social media websites.